Yeah. So also like leading up to this meeting is like the U.S. is concerned that because of China's military aggression and maritime militia aggression in the South China Sea, that accidents could happen, triggering, like a boots on the ground type conflict. But U.S. military to military cooperation ended, like a year ago or something.
Yeah, I don't know what they're talking.
The U.S. had sanctioned some Chinese general, and then China was like, "We're not going to cooperate." And then like I don't think we should do joint military drills with China.
Yeah, that's a bad idea.
But it's good to have channels open so that when some incident happens, you have the two like high-ranking decision makers who can get on the phone like immediately and like walk back something if there was, to like figure out how to resolve in a non-confrontational way an incident. Because sometimes it's an accident, and you don't want accidents to start a war. You want to start a war on purpose.
Didn't military communications restart recently?
Oh, not that I'm aware of.
There was an Axios scoop that says that Biden and Xi Jinping are preparing to announce the resumption of military-to-military communications this week. So that's what I saw.
Right. I mean, that is as much of an advantage for China as it is for the U.S., right? Because China's the country that's going to be doing things that are most likely to create an incident.
Yeah, they're specifically harassing U.S., Filipino.
Right. And they do careless things, right? Like fly their jets like, 10 meters away from the wing of like some other jet.
So I don't know how much this military-to-military communication is really helping.
No, I'm not saying it's helping.
There hasn't been any. Is that what you're talking about?
Right. Well, what I'm saying is like, let's say, the U.S. is doing like a reconnaissance flight over the South China Sea, and the Chinese PLA Air Force like flies dangerously close and clips the wing, like happened in 2001.
The Hainan Island incident.
And what you want is for the head of the U.S. Air Force and the head of the PLA Air Force to get on the phone right away and figure out how to resolve this without the next step being the U.S. sends a whole bunch of airplanes and naval ships in to attack because they think that we're being attacked.
Wouldn't the flip side of that be like, there's the conversation, they de-escalate things, and then China knows, oh, hey, we can have our aircraft slam into U.S. aircraft and say, oh, it was an accident, and just talk it down.
Yes, if there's no repercussions. So like the repercussion of that happening is like, you don't want the repercussion to be war. That starts accidentally. You do want that issue to be resolved. And then the U.S. says, okay, because you did this, we are now going to sanction all jet engines exports to China or whatever it is. That's like a major retaliation that says, hey, you're still punished for your stupid actions, but we're not going to actually go to war when that's not what we want. Because we don't, like, it's not actually good to go to war with China. We just need to have our military be strong enough to stop China from being aggressive. Doesn't that make sense?
I don't know. I mean, like, I've also heard you say this about like the UN, how like we need to have these authoritarian countries there so we can talk to them. And like, I don't know, something about that. I don't have an argument against it yet, but it doesn't seem to, something seems off about it.
I don't think that the authoritarian countries should have power at the UN, and they have more power now than they should. I'm just saying that like, it's good to have dialogue often because at least there's an opportunity to have that dialogue.
Well, if they don't have power, why would they be there?
Yeah, I mean, that's part of the problem. The UN is a whole mess, and we could do an entire podcast about the problems with the United Nations.
Sounds like fun.
I think so.
Shelley?
I want to talk about pandas again.
I can see why you wanted to save that till the end, but I mean...
The pandas?
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, I think I can bring it back around because we were talking about, the Chinese economy and the economic slowdown and how, in times past, they've basically like tried to ramp up their exporting, their manufacturing exports to make up for the economy.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like So over the last 2 decades, China has essentially ramped up their panda economy, their panda export economy, because once they figured out, well, not just the last 2 decades, but that's essentially panda diplomacy has been going on a lot more since the 90s. But I think that now that they're recalling their pandas, it is possible that they're going to have too many pandas. And then soon that they will be incentivized to export pandas at cut rate prices.
Oh, I thought you were going to say they're going to start culling them.
No, you got...
No, they have to export their excess panda capacity.
Yeah, and
Just like
then
they do with steel and solar panels and EVs.
and then, maybe their next soft power move will be to, you could adopt your own panda from China.
Oh, but then they're gonna get loose and they're gonna breed, and then they'll be like rats or pigeons. There'll just be pandas everywhere in America. You'll have to. It'll be like hunting those boars in Texas. You get to fly in helicopters with machine guns and shoot the pandas.
I'm pretty
I
sure
like
the
it.
pandas aren't going to be like raising like American crops to the ground. They pretty much...
they would raise. Pandas are a menace. They would destroy this country if they had the opportunity.
I don't really know if I could have grounds to disagree with that. But
I mean, I'm just saying that I think this is going to come back around.
I haven't seen evidence that wild pandas are extremely destructive. Although sometimes in like Sichuan province, wild pandas do, like they'll go to someone's like property and they'll like eat their food. Sometimes they even eat meat. Like pandas, they're not just going to eat bamboo; they'll eat meat.
I think
if
they have
find it.
mauled people.
Yes, but I think that like most of the time they don't eat meat, but they will if they have to do it.
Right.
But that is an interesting point. They might start realizing pandas are their only option for saving the economy. And then, yeah, maybe America will actually own some pandas. And when we own them, we can do whatever we want with them.
Oh my gosh.
This is terrible, Chris.
Just saying.